I'm joined by Senior Managing Editor Kent German. And Kent, this new Apple iPhone is expected to come out in less than 2 weeks. The rumor mill is working overtime. Let's talk about some of the new tidbits out there.
Sure.
For one, screen size. I guess some photos have surfaced, and we now know a more accurate idea of how big it's going to be, right?
Yeah, well, we're pretty sure. It's going to be 4 inches. Some pictures emerged on a French site today which showed just the parts, so you didn't see the whole thing, but you did see a hole for a screen size of 4 inches, which is a pretty big jump up from the current size of 3.5 inches.
3.5 to 4 inches now. All right. And tell us about NFC, near field communication. That's no longer a part of the phone?
Well, we've heard that rumor for months, and we actually heard it going into the iPhone 4S too, and that didn't happen. And now we're hearing that NFC might not happen. Of course, that's the feature that lets you do wireless purchases, lets transfer things back and forth. But AnandTech says today that because the phone will have a metal back and there won't be enough room inside, they will not have an NFC chip.
Is that a big disappointment, would you say, to many consumers or more just to analysts?
Well, I think a little bit of both. I mean, we've heard it for so long that I think people get excited about it for it, but it's a bigger deal if LTE wasn't in there or something like that.
Gotcha. Now, as far as the release date, we are still thinking the announcement could come on September 12th, right?
Yes.
And what about location?
Well, pretty unsure. Moscone Center, so Apple usually uses Moscone Center in San Francisco. That's completely booked for that whole week. So, and we know it's not by Apple, it's other companies like Intel.
Interesting.
It could hold it at the Yerba Buena Gardens Theater, where they've actually introduced the iPads for the past couple of years. We still don't know that, though. So the location, that becomes the bigger choice, because if everything's booked in San Francisco, they have to go to their campus, which is pretty small.
Exactly. That means like less media
and probably fewer products.
Ah, interesting.
Because they can't pack as many people in.
Now, as far as the date that the phone actually hits the stores, I hear that Verizon's let a little something leak that could indicate the date.
Yeah, supposedly Verizon has prohibited its employees from taking a vacation around September 21st. So there's a few days around it, and I mean, we don't know if that's the store or what employees that applies to, but if you can't go on vacation, which we have seen in previous iPhone releases, probably a big deal that they expect a lot of lines.
Right, and that is 9 days after the announce date, which does kind of fall in line with Apple's patterns.
Yeah, typically they're a week to a week and a half later, and that makes perfect sense if that were the case.
Well, thank you for the rumor update. Kent German, Senior Managing Editor. I'm Kara Suboy, CNET.com.